Dane Copus with Allison Contracting. I'm going to show you today how to install wall tile. First thing you got to do is you want to put a plastic Tyvek sheeting behind it, attach it to the studs. Paint the studs if you can. It always helps to paint it with like a latex sealer or you know, a stain blocker. That way you know, if you do happen to get moisture back there behind your shower wall, you know, it'll have some paint on it, so it won't you know, it won't cause rot or mildew or anything like that. Which you shouldn't have any water back there after the layers of protection you put, but it's just an extra precaution that you can use to you know, keep your studs healthy. Anyhow, you put the plastic sheeting up on the wall, you attach it to your studs. You can use like a simplex nail they use for roofing. Got the plastic caps on it to attach it, or you can staple them. Either way is fine. You want to put it over your insulation, of course. You always want to insulate your walls inside your shower. It'll keep noise out, and as well as you know, the cold air or the hot air or whatever. Also, after you put that on there, you want to go over that with concrete backer board. It's always you know, it comes in 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch. On the walls, you can use 1/4 inch depending on your tile, the thickness and how heavy your tile are. You know, if you got a real heavy tile, of course you're gonna need more mortar mix, so you might want to use something thicker like a 1/2 inch backer board. But you always want to put the backer board on, nail it off or screw it off every 4 inches. I usually use screws. You can use nails, I guess. You want to coat over them with some thin set. Each joint needs to be caulked. Also, you can use thin set there. You want to put the net tape on. Let's see if I can find a roll of it. I don't know where I have it at. Where's it at? Here it is. Basically, it comes in little rolls. It's similar to this. They use this behind it. But it comes in little small rolls, and that's what it looks like. Anyhow, you can buy it in the tile section. You put it on all your joints, where all your concrete boards meet. That way, you can put the thin set on, and the thin set will bond to it, and it'll make like a concrete, almost like a pool-like surface. You want to put it flat, so that way when you put your tile on there, they're not sitting off, you know, at angles. They stay flat on the wall, and you also have your waterproof joint there. So after you put the thin set, you let that dry at least 24 hours. Put it on thin so it'll dry quicker. You want to do all your outside corners the same way. As you can see, for example, here we have that net tape that I was talking about. We put it on our corner. We're going to wrap our tile around here, as you can see here. You know, so once you're finished with that, you let that dry 24 hours. And the next day you can start doing your tile. You want to mix mortar mix. A polymer additive would be an ideal mortar mix to use. That way it has polymer additive in it. You could also use for additional strength, you can use a polymer liquid that takes the place of water. I don't have a bottle with me right now, so I can't show you, but anyhow, when you start your tile, after you get all that done, you want to find the center of your wall, okay? If you're gonna put a pattern in there, you figure out where you want your pattern. You don't really have to go by that, but you know, sometimes you can start at your pattern, which it'll keep your pattern nice and level as you go around. A lot of times I'll do that, but the best way to do it is to find the center of the wall. You want to measure your wall. You know, if you got a 10-foot wall, for example, you'll go to 5 foot, and you mark 5 foot on this side, you mark 5 foot on this side. On each wall you have to do this. You have to lay out each wall the same way. And once you start, you find your center, and you could use this laser, as you can see here. It shoots a grid pattern, similar to a grid pattern. It's actually a cross, as you can see right here. It has a self-leveling mechanism in it, where it shoots a plumb and a level line. They're both nice and square for you. That way you don't have to use a square or a level, but you can always just use a tape measure. You want to make sure you got a true 10-foot exact same measurement on both sides, and you know, that way if you got something taller on this side, you don't have, you know, say you got 10 foot and 3 inches on this side, and you got 10 foot on this side. Well, then you're gonna have a 3-inch piece on this side, and then nothing on this side. You're gonna have a big wedge looking piece in there, and it's ugly. If you're not gonna use trim, you can't cover that up. So anyhow, you want to make sure you got a true, you know, same distance on both sides. Mark the center, and then you do the same thing on the, you know, on the from right to left. You want to mark up and down center, and then left to right center. So if you got a 4-foot wall, you're gonna mark 2 foot. Okay, that's the center. So you pop a line, you mark your 2 foot over here on the bottom, mark your 2 foot on the top, pop a line, or you can use this level. You know, you want to go by reveal, so that way the towel, you have the same reveal on both sides, you got the same cut on both sides. It's good for waste and all that. So anyhow, once you start there, once you get that, you can start in the center, and you can work your way out from there. What I always do is either I'll put, here's my square line, for example. This is not where it's at, but I'm just showing you for example. I'll put one on this side, and then I'll put one on this side. So that way, put a dead center there. So that way I got the same exact cut on that side as I do on this side. It always looks a lot better if you do it that way. And or there's another way you can do it. You can take it and you can start it right here, dead center of it. A lot of times it's a good thing to go ahead and run your tile out on both ways. Like say I start here in the center, then I'll go ahead and put another tile over there. Then I'll see that, okay, I got about a 2 or 3 inch, 4 inch cut on the end. It'll be the same thing on this side if I had it in the center. So, or I can put it in the center, then I can put it this way, and then I'll see, okay, I got a bigger cut on that side. So maybe that would look a little better. So I'd probably start that tile in the center of that mark there. There's 2 different ways you can do it. You know, there's a few different ways you can do it. It's just really up to you. You want to check them out and see what works best for you. Whenever you use your mortar mix, you want to make it a little dry. You don't want to make it too wet, because if you put it on the wall, it's going to run down the wall, of course. And not only that, but your towel are going to do the exact same thing if they even hold. So make it a little, not super dry, but it's always best to use the high quality mortar mix for the walls, because of course it's holding weight, and you don't want your wall to fall down. So.